I got a band 9 on IELTS reading 3 times. To score high on IELTS reading, you must have a reading strategy. You must know how to find the correct answers really fast. And this is what I'm going to teach you in this video. I show you how to solve an IELTS reading passage in less than 20 minutes, so you can do it in your IELTS test. If you're going to take your IELTS soon, check out my IELTS materials. There I teach you everything you need to score high. I show you step by step how to give high scoring answers, and of course we do many practice tests together, so you will feel confident for your test. You can find the link to the IELTS materials in the description box. And now let's get started. Here you can see the reading passage, and here are the questions. We don't have much time in IELTS reading, so we go directly to the questions. We don't read the whole passage because this is a huge waste of time, okay? If you read the passage first, you have no idea what you need to look for in the passage because you haven't had a look at the questions yet. We need to know what the questions are asking for, and then we scan for the information in the passage. Let's do this. Let's go to the first questions. Questions 1 to 4. What do the instructions say? Choose the correct letter A, B, C, or D. Write the correct letter in boxes 1 to 4 on your answer sheet. These are multiple choice questions. We start directly with the first question. What point does the writer emphasize in the first paragraph? Now, let's have a look at the first paragraph and let's see what point the writer emphasizes. The first paragraph says, philosopher Karl Marx and naturalist Charles Darwin may once have rubbed shoulders as they gazed upon the world's largest diamond. Just meters away, authors Charlotte Bronte and George Eliot may have passed one another as they used the world's first paid toilets. Where could these encounters have taken place? Only at the great exhibition of the works of industry of all nations, usually just called the Great Exhibition, one of the most impressive spectacles ever staged. It was held in London's Hyde Park between May and October 1851, and everyone from renowned scientists to humble shopkeepers walked excitedly through its doors. Now, let's have a look at the answer choices. And then let's check which answer choice is correct. A. Well-known people promoted the Great Exhibition to the public. The first paragraph does talk about well-known people. Here it mentions Karl Marx, Charles Darwin, Charlotte Bronte, George Eliot. But it doesn't say anything about that they promoted the Great Exhibition to the public. So we can eliminate answer choice A. B. Every country was invited to display objects at the Great Exhibition. This is not at all mentioned in paragraph 1, okay? This is not in there. B is out. The Great Exhibition attracted visitors from many different spheres. This is interesting. Let's have a closer look at this one here. From many different spheres. Here it says, the paragraph mentions people like philosophers, naturalists, authors, and here in the end it says from renowned scientists to humble shopkeepers. So this means that people from many different spheres visited the Great Exhibition, people from many different backgrounds. So C seems to be the correct answer. But before we choose C, we quickly have a look at D to make sure that we can rule it out. Artists and scientists had a rare chance to interact at the Great Exhibition. This is not mentioned in the first paragraph, so the correct answer is C, so we write down C. Let's move on. Question number 2. Why does the writer mention the Victoria and Albert Museum in London? Let's quickly have a look. This is a keyword, guys. Victoria and Albert Museum is a keyword. We should be able to find it directly like that in the passage. Where can we see it? Let's scan the passage. I can see it here. Victoria and Albert Museum. Let's read this sentence here more closely. With this revenue, Albert paid for the Great Exhibition's legacy, the Victoria and Albert Museum, Natural History Museum and Science Museum, and so on. So we're not interested in that. Let's have a look at the answer choices. Why does the writer mention this museum? It first opened its doors in the same year as the Great Exhibition. There was nothing about that in the passage. Initially, Prince Albert had hoped to hold the great exhibition there. Let's again have a look at the paragraph and let's see what it says. We only read this one sentence here, and this sentence referred to revenue. What kind of revenue are they talking about? Let's read the sentence before that as well. Over 6 million people, a third of Britain's population at the time, came to view the 100,000 objects on display. And obviously this is about the Great Exhibition, which is mentioned here, generating the equivalent of 20 million or more in today's money with this revenue. So now we know that revenue refers to the 20 million here, okay? And with this revenue, Albert paid for the museum. Now, let's have a look at the answer choices. So we can safely say that A is out, B is out as well. This is not in the paragraph. C, today it owns many of the objects displayed at the Great Exhibition. This was not in the paragraph. Profits from the Great Exhibition were used to fund its construction. This is in the paragraph, right? So D is the correct answer. Let's move on to question 3. What view of the Great Exhibition does the writer express in paragraph D? Let's have a look at paragraph D. What is D talking about? D says, the principal draw of the Great Exhibition is generally assumed to have been its novelty. It's often described as the first World Expo and so on, and the public had rarely experienced anything quite like it. So it was new, and that's why people found it interesting. But it's not entirely accurate to say that the Great Exhibition was the first of its type, as France had been organizing its own industrial expos since 1798. And then the paragraph goes a bit in detail. And ultimately it says, however, it hosted under 4,000 exhibitors. So what is it referring to here? Here, this refers to the 10th French Expo. It hosted under 4,000 exhibitors compared to the Great Exhibition's 15,000. So ultimately, it may not have been the novelty of the letter that inspired such awe, but the scale and quality of the exhibits. So that was the real reason why people wanted to see the Great Exhibition. What do the answer choices say? So, what view of the Great Exhibition does the writer express? Its large size was one of the main reasons for its popularity. This is what we read, right? The writer says that the scale and quality of the exhibits, and this means, here he refers to the Great Exhibition's exhibitors, which were 15,000. So it was huge at that time. And this means that its large size was one of the main reasons for its popularity. Whoop, this is the wrong color. So this seems to be the correct answer. Let's quickly have a look at the remaining answer choices to make sure that we can rule them out and to make sure that A really is the correct answer. Its exhibits were not as high quality as those at the French expos. This is not in the paragraph. B is out. It didn't offer the wide variety of entertainment that it claimed to. This is also not in the paragraph. It was able to attract visitors from Europe thanks to clever advertising. Also not in the passage. A is the correct answer. Let's move on. What does the writer suggest happened to Sydenham when the Crystal Palace was relocated there? Let's check the passage for Sydenham. This is a keyword. We should be able to find that exactly like that in the passage. So here there was nothing about Sydenham here. Let's move on. Let's scan for Sydenham. I can see Sydenham here. So let's read this sentence more closely. After the exhibition, it was moved from Hyde Park to Sydenham, South London, where it breathed new life into a previously sleepy suburb. The paragraph talks about it. What does it refer to? Let's quickly have a look at the previous sentence to make sure that we understand what this is about. At more than a half kilometer long and using modern materials such as sheet glass and cast iron, the building. Which building is this referring to? It's referring to the building that housed the Great Exhibition, and this is known as the Crystal Palace. Okay, this is what we are talking about. Then it was moved from Hyde Park to Sydenham, and it breathed new life into a previously sleepy suburb. Let's have a look at the answer choices. What does the writer suggest happened to Sydenham when the Crystal Palace was relocated there? It became a more popular destination than Hyde Park. This is not in the passage. A is out. It became a recognized center of engineering excellence, also not in the passage. It became a livelier neighborhood than it had been before. This is it, because the passage says here, it breathed new life into a previously sleepy suburb. So at that point, the suburb wasn't sleepy anymore. It was livelier than before. So it became a livelier neighborhood. And D says it became one of the busiest London transport interchanges. No, this is out. So C is the correct answer. And this means that we are done with questions 1 to 4. Great job! By the way, if you want more IELTS reading practice tests, hit the like button and write yes in the comments. If you want me to talk about something else, tell me your video wish in the comments so I know what you would like to see on this channel. Now, let's continue solving this test. Let's move on with the next questions. We don't have much time, so we really need to hurry up. Questions 5 to 7. Complete the sentences below. Choose no more than 2 words from the passage for each answer. This is super important, guys. If it says no more than 2 words, make sure that you don't enter more words. Write your answers in boxes 5 to 7 on your answer sheet. 5. The majority of tickets sold for the Great Exhibition were priced at. What did the tickets cost? Let's have a look. We are looking for what the tickets cost. Here, I can see a number. Maybe this is about the tickets, maybe not. Let's have a look. Here, I can see the word tickets here, so we seem to be looking in the right place. Amazing. Let's read from here. Those season tickets cost as much as 3 guineas, more than £300 today. Day passes were the most popular and sold for just 1 shilling, roughly £5 today. What does the question ask us to do? The question says the majority of tickets, this is important, sold were priced at. And the correct answer is 1 shilling here. Because day passes were the most popular. So this is about the majority of the tickets. So we are going to enter 1 shilling. Next question. Visitors looking for a new personal vehicle may have been interested in the... We're looking for a new personal vehicle in the passage. There was nothing about a vehicle here in these paragraphs, so let's move on. Can we find anything about a vehicle here? I can see the word bicycle here, so let's have a closer look at this sentence. There were printing presses and adding machines, surgical instruments and velocipedes, precursors to the modern bicycle. Here we are. There were velocipedes. This is what we're looking for. So, visitors looking for a new personal vehicle may have been interested in the velocipedes. And make sure that you write velocipedes correctly. If you are unsure, have a quick look at the passage again to make sure that you have written this word correctly. This is super important. If there are words that are difficult to spell, make sure you write them correctly. Velocipedes. Amazing. Next question. The Great Exhibition's home got its nickname because it looked like a something. We already read about the building where the Great Exhibition was held. Let's have a look at that paragraph again. Where was it? It was in paragraph F here, the building that housed it. So let's have a closer look at this sentence here. Designed by Joseph Paxton specifically for the event, it resembled a giant greenhouse and became affectionately known as the Crystal Palace. What does the question ask us to do? The Great Exhibition's home got its nickname because it looked like a... The nickname was Crystal Palace. This is in the passage. And what did it look like? Why did it get that name? Because it resembled, this is paraphrasing, it resembled means it looked like a giant greenhouse. So we are going to enter giant greenhouse here. Amazing, we're done with questions 5 to 7. Let's move on with the next questions. Questions 8 to 13. Let's first read the instructions. Reading passage 1 has 7 sections, A to G. This is what you can see here. So, section G, section F, and so on. Which paragraph contains the following information? Write the correct letter A to G in boxes 8 to 13 on your answer sheet. You may use any letter more than once. We start with question number 8. Examples of items displayed by international exhibitors. I remember that there was something in the passage. This was where we read about the velocipedes here. Let's again have a look at this sentence. France brought exquisite silks and tapestries. Canada exhibited a fire engine and a range of luxurious furs. Russia showed porcelain vases that stood twice the height of the average visitor. There was even a folding piano designed so that sailors could entertain themselves at sea. Paragraph E is the correct answer. So I'm going to write down E. Next, a description of the venue where the great exhibition was held. This is easy, right? Here you can see that when you progress with the questions, it can get easier finding the correct answers because you have already a pretty good idea of the passage. This is paragraph F because paragraph F talks about the building that housed the great exhibition. We don't need to go into that in detail again. So F is the correct answer. Next, question number 10. A reference to an especially determined visitor. I don't remember reading anything about that, so let's have a look at the passage. Paragraph A didn't talk about a visitor who was especially determined. Also, paragraph B didn't talk about that. Let's have a look at C. Paragraph C talked about the tickets, but we haven't had a look at the remaining part here yet. So let's have a look at this part. People snapped up these bargain tickets in huge numbers. Then the paragraph goes on. Factory owners all over Britain sent their employees to learn from the show, while local vicars organized trips for the parishioners and for school children. So obviously the paragraph talks about visitors here, right? It talks about employees, school children, parishioners. So this is about visitors. So we are obviously looking in the right place. Do we have an especially determined visitor here? Let's take a look. Here it says, such was the pull of the exhibition. It was reported that one woman walked over 300 miles from Cornwall on the southwest coast of England just to see it. So this is obviously a super determined visitor, right? She walked over 300 miles. So paragraph C is the correct answer. I'm going to write down C here. Next question. The reason why the great exhibition was held. Let's have a look at the passage. I don't remember reading anything about that. In paragraph A, there was nothing about the reason why it was held. Paragraph B talked about the revenue and that the museum was funded. Let's again have a closer look at this paragraph. The Great Exhibition was designed to showcase treasures and inventions from around the globe. So this is obviously a reason, right? But more importantly, to demonstrate that Britain was the world leader in industry. Here we have it. This is the reason why the Great Exhibition was held. So B is the correct answer. I'm going to write down B. Next. A common misunderstanding about the Great Exhibition. I remember that we read about a misunderstanding, and this was somewhere here in the passage. Here, where the writer says, it is generally assumed to have been its novelty. So the principal draw is assumed to have been its novelty, but actually, what inspired such awe, this is what he says here, were the scale and quality of the exhibits. So paragraph D is the correct answer. We already read that one. D. Next, a description of an invention that did not become a success. Let's again have a look at the inventions that were displayed. We read about all of these here. Let's again have a look at the last sentence because we didn't finish earlier. There was even a folding piano designed so that sailors could entertain themselves at sea, although this particular innovation was never to find a place in the mass market. Here we have it. Paragraph E is the correct answer. The folding piano did not become a success. And that's it. We're done with questions 8 to 13, and this means that we have finished this IELTS reading practice test in under 20 minutes. Amazing! Great job! I hope you liked this video. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and click the bell icon so you're notified when the next video comes out. Also, share this video with your friends so they can improve their IELTS score too. See you in the next video!